I'm Jessica Molina, and you're watching Now You Know. You may or may not have heard about the protests in Puerto Rico this week, which turned violent after protesters and police clashed, with police firing tear gas and pepper spray at the crowds. But do you know why Puerto Ricans of all ages stood up in defiance on May 1st? There's a lot they're protesting, and honestly, they have every right to be livid. Not only are tens of thousands of people still living without electricity over 7 months after Hurricane Maria hit, but the island has been in a recession for over a decade and is over $70 billion in debt. Back in 2016, a federal oversight board was appointed by the US government to help the island restructure its debt. But many Puerto Ricans have been asking for an audit of this debt to find out if the figure is legit, how the money was wasted, and if it was incurred legally or illegally. Plus, they want this board, a group not chosen by the Puerto Rican people, but deciding its future, to go. And it was their latest actions that many on Tuesday turned out to protest. On April 18th, the board voted to implement a new fiscal plan that would impose steep government spending reductions, cut pension by around 10%, reduce vacation and sick time, cut paid leave in half, ease laws for companies so it would be easier for them to fire employees, more than double tuition at Puerto Rico's largest university, the University of Puerto Rico. The cost per credit would go from $57 to $115 next year, and then up to $157 by 2023, and reduce personnel costs at Puerto Rico's Highways and Transportation Authority. And of course, we can't ignore FEMA's failed response to help Puerto Rico. The fact that over 280 schools are closing, that healthcare services and basic human needs still aren't being provided, that many have had their families and communities torn apart, with over 130,000 people having left the island since Hurricane Maria hit, that over 40% of the residents on the island live in poverty, that the suicide rate has spiked since Hurricane Maria, and that the US federal government not only mocked the people of Puerto Rico, but has basically turned a blind eye. Considering these are just some of the grievances that the people of Puerto Rico have, don't you think they have every right to protest? And if you didn't know why they're mad as hell, well, now you know.